What is up, YouTube? We have a ridiculous amount of cards to go over, so without further ado, let's dive straight into the new cards for this set, at least the ones we've seen so far. Sinciro, Heir to Usurpation. It is a 6 mana 5/6. It has fuse loot cards. So what does that mean? You can fuse loot cards to him. These are loot cards. You can generate those with other cards. And what does he do? He deals X damage to all enemies. Now, a big thing to remember is all enemies does include face damage. Personally, I'm not a big fan of that. That's a little bit scary for me. Sword having more ways to deal face damage, we'll have to wait and see how that feels, but that worries me. X is the number of differently named cards fused to this card. Now, keep in mind, this only allows you to fuse loot cards. And from what we've seen, we currently have one loot card, 2 loot card, 3, 4. We have 4 loot cards at the moment. What does that mean? He does 4 damage to everything and 4 phase damage as well. Furthermore, Super Evolve replicate the effects of this card's fanfare ability. That means if you drop down Sinciro and Super Evolve him, you are dealing 8 to everything and 8 to face. That means if you go mana 8 Sinciro Super Evolve into mana 9 Albert Super Evolve, you're basically guaranteed doing 20 damage total to face. If not 21, if somehow something survives and he gets to hit something else. That is very, very scary. Now let's have a look at the cards that comes along with that. So we get this 1 mana cost Flashblade of Retribution. It is a 1-point gold spell. Fusion loot cards. Deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower. Put a gilded blade in your hand. If you fused to this card, draw a card. So what this can do is basically it does 2 damage to something random. Okay, it's a ping card. It's a random ping card. And you can use it to draw cards. And it gives you a gilded blade in your hand. We also have a Lair of Usurpation. What does it do? It is a amulet, and you can engage it to destroy it and select which loot to get. So you can either get the blade and necklace or the goblet and boots. Very easy way to get a lot of these loot cards. So we have a loot card that does 1 damage to anything. We have a loot card that restores 2 defense to your leader. I think this is busted in Sword. I think it's unfair. Because usually the way you beat Sword is like getting them to a certain HP threshold. They usually can't heal out of that, and then you wait for your own OTK. Now, then again, Sword has very good ways to defend from that usually because they can go very wide with ward and blockers. So sometimes they can stall you off. But then being able to heal for 1 mana is insane. We have Boots. Select a follower and give it +1/+0 rush. That's a solid card. And we have Necklace, giving it 0/1 and ward. Again, another annoying card. And I find this is going to be annoying because like you can just play this on like something like Kagemitsu, right? And just bothers me. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the direction they took with Sword. It just feels like it's going to be more annoying to play against. Now, that said, we haven't seen all the fusion cards, and maybe the fusion cards are kind of bad. Maybe the cards that give loot are not amazing, and they're going to like, it's going to be hard to fit those cards in while keeping all the strong cards Sword has. So we'll have to wait and see. Moving along, we have Runecraft, and unfortunately, we only have seen 1 Runecraft card so far. But let's see what it is. It is a 2 mana 1/1. Velharia, Heir to Truth. Okay, not to the truth, Heir to Truth in general. She's insane, and it is fanfare draw card. Already not useless because, well, you want to cycle through your deck sometimes. So it's not that bad. Evolve, select an enemy follower in the field and banish it. Super Evolve, banish all copies of it from the field. It's really hard to say how good this card is. I honestly think this card is okay. It deals with a lot of annoying cards in the game. It can be very good versus certain decks. Especially Swordcraft. But then again, I'm not entirely sold on how good it is versus Swordcraft. So it would be very good versus the Amelia into Luminous combo, right? getting rid of all those 2-drops. But then you got to super evolve her to do that, which is not a great value proposition, because that is a super evolve. On the other hand, evolve, banish 1 unit is also not bad, because you play this on like mana 5, right? Or mana 4. You get to remove something annoying. Another fact to consider is, one of the hardest things to deal with for Rune at the moment is zombies. I've lost so many games to Abyss myself, because they go the zombie dude on 6, zombie dude on 7, and then they just kill you on 8. It's not a great answer, because again, wasting a super evolve just to remove zombies doesn't feel great. But it's an answer, right? It's an answer to something like, for example, versus Norman in the mirror matchup. You can get rid of... If you have no other answer, if you have no other choice, removing golems is kind of useful. So it can be one of those emergency cards, you know? Overall, I think it's playable. I don't think it's great. I don't know if you can fit it, but I think it's playable. I think you can play this card. Why? Because there's a lot of scenarios where it just fits. It's basically like a worse Odin for a much cheaper cost and a very low downside because you do draw a card with it. Like playing versus Wallcraft, well, you can get rid of their 6-drop, right? Windbert, see you later, brother, banish. Yeah. I think this can see play. I don't think you ever play 3 of it. Maybe you do even. I don't know. Moving along, that is Runecraft. Next, we have Dragoncraft. And this is kind of interesting. We have Gamlmieux, Ardor Manifest. It is a 5-mana 5/5. Fanfare, it gives you a crest. And on 7, it gets Storm. Now, I think we have to be very, very aware of how strong Storm is. Because it gets Storm on 7 enhance, means this is never a dead top deck, right? Storm is great for lethals that people don't expect, especially at 5 mana, because if you have 2 of her in your hand, and usually if you're running something that like plays around a legendary, you want to have multiple copies, this is 10 damage to face for 10 mana. Well, actually it's not, because you have to actually pay the enhance cost, but still, it's pretty good. Like 7 mana Storm is pretty decent. 7 mana Storm, it goes face, it does face damage. You can never say no to that. It's not quite as good as other dedicated Storm cards, but this is just I am never a dead option. Like, let's say you already have the crest, you don't need another crest, and you want to play her. Well, that's fine. Storm. It can be used for removal, it can be used for face. Now, what does the crest do? Once on each of your turns, so whenever it's your turn, when an allied follower takes damage but isn't destroyed, add Fangs of Ardent Destruction to your hand. And it is a 0 mana, deal 1 damage to all followers, including your own. So this combos with her own ability, which says on each of your turns, when this follower takes damage but isn't destroyed, deal 3 damage to a random enemy follower. I think we need more cards for this kind of dedicated archetype, but let's consider what this means. You drop her down, right? You get the crest. You play any unit you want that has, or you use an existing unit on the board that has, let's say, Evolve, that has Rush, Storm. You attack a unit, it survives, you get crest. All of a sudden, this is popping off, right? It's dealing random damage to units. Second of all, now that you have Fangs, you can do this with future Gamlmieux in hand. It does damage to units, deal 3 damage to anything you want. Furthermore, this is great to have in hand if you're playing Feline, especially if you're playing multiple copies of Feline, because the 3-cost card is just instant removal with the 0-cost card. Other than those scenarios, like this card combos with itself with this, Feline combos with itself on this. It's hard to say what else this is great with. Like, yeah, it does give you a little bit more reach. It can turn 5 damage into 6, like if you're playing, but in Constructed, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is broken or not in Constructed. It's hard to say. Still, 2 cards. Combos with itself, combos with Feline. I think we need more cards where this is a factor. I think we need more cards that say, when I'm injured, I do something, right? I think that's what's required to really make this pop off. But yeah, this definitely has options. Chat saying removes barrier. I don't think Dragon cares that much about barrier because it has the 9-cost dragon that already gets rid of stuff by removing total HP. And you have Feline already, but yeah, it's decent for barrier. It's not bad. But I don't think it's great. But I do think it can be great as long as this archetype is a thing. Now, I'm going to make a small complaint here, which people might disagree with, but it is a personal complaint about the game. It bothers me. So far, what we've seen this, we've seen Swordcraft, and we're going to see the exact same thing in Heavencraft. We're going to see the exact same thing in Abysscraft. I'm seeing a pattern with Shadowverse that every expansion we get, we're getting archetypes. This is telling me they're going to be printing an archetype for this. Me personally, as a card player, I like to build my own decks. And I feel like every time they drop a set, it's like, hey, we have this 40 card package. Just put it together for a deck list. You can't mix and match cards from other sets because, again, that's not part of the archetype. And in order for an archetype to be effective, you got to use most of the cards we give you. So it auto-builds, right? They're giving us sets where you auto-build decks, and there's not much deck creativity for making lists. I wish the cards were more generally good and not good within context. Chat says just like Shadowverse 1, yeah. That's a turnoff for me because it doesn't let me be creative. It doesn't let me be very creative with the decks I can build because, again, the devs have already built the decks themselves. So we'll wait and see what happens. I like to have a bit more freedom in deck building. But yeah, it's hard to really tell how good this card is without seeing the other cards that are going to be in Dragoncraft that fit in this archetype. Moving along, we have Abysscraft. So we actually have quite a few cards to look at here. I don't think I've seen every one of these. We have Sham-nacha, Heir to Entwing. She is a 2-mana 2/2. So already just good stats overall to play on 2, to play on curve. And what does she do? So, I believe Faith, right off the bat, if she starts in your deck, you have Faith. I think that's how Faith works. Fanfare, reduce the Faith of Heir to Entwing by 10. Okay, to give it, increase the number of modes you can select by 1. What does that mean? Basically, your Faith starts at 0, right? Whenever you select modes, increase Faith by 1. What does it mean to select modes? Well, for example, when you play Gensetsu on mana 9, you can either summon foxes or you can kill 4 units. That is selecting modes because you make a choice out of the 2 options. Norman gives you 3 options, right? That's selecting modes. So, when you start the game, if you have a 1-drop that lets you select a mode, Faith goes from 0 to 1. That means you have to select mode 10 times. At that point, if you play her on board, her Fanfare will reduce it by 10 and increase the number of modes you select by 1. And this means Gensetsu gets both of her abilities off. If you somehow had her in a Norman deck, which you can't because that's ruined, but if you somehow did, Norman could both summon a golem and draw cards, for example. Really cool. It seems it's a permanent effect, but for that to be done, you have to play 10 select modes and then play her. That's already like turn 11 plus, unless you have a lot of low-cost select mode cards. And again, this is going to be a self-building deck because if you want this to be a win condition, you got to build a deck where like 60-70% of your cards are all select mode, which is quite annoying. So I don't know. You can steal a Norman, yeah, but you can't really get him in your hand, can you? I guess you could steal him and evolve him if he's not evolved. You could do that, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, let's look at other cards that might combo with it. So for right now, Gensetsu is the only one that really benefits massively for the +1. That's about it. And we have the 2-cost card that draws or revives. I guess it's kind of an okay card. It's not a great card. So they're going to need to print a lot of select mode cards for this to be playable. A lot of them. Before we move on, her Super Evolve, select an enemy follower on the field, destroy it, and add a copy of it to your hand. That's really cool. That's actually really cool. That's kind of scary. You can actually steal Norman. Okay. That's cool. I mean, anytime Super Evolve, kill a unit. It's not an amazing Super Evolve, but it can be amazing if you're playing, if you steal the right one. So, really cool. Stealing Orcus is kind of like, yeah, there's some really high moves you can do with this. It gives you a card advantage. It's kind of cool. Yeah, this is insane. This is like, so is it insane though? Like, let's think about it. So we have 6 mana in Swordcraft, summon 3 dogs. This is for 1 more mana. 5/5 is so much stronger than 4/2, but this one doesn't get rush. It's pretty decent. I wouldn't say broken, but it's pretty decent if this second ability is also very strong. If it was just this, I don't think it would be that great. So let's see, because versatility, again. What does this do? Select an allied, Rulenye and Valnareik on the field and give it Storm. Ooh, that gives it... Oh, wow. That's kind of insane, though. Okay, so, again, like, Storm Super Evolve 8 damage to face. It's not for 8 mana, it's 7 mana. This is a 0-cost card. Yeah. It's a good card. Already a good card. There's already an Odin that costs 7. Correct. Correct, there is Odin. But again, guys, you have to realize versatility. Do you need removal? This does it. Do you need phase damage? This does it. Versatility is very, very good in card games. Are you playing versus a deck that has too many things on board? Well, you got 3 units, and 2 of them have rush. You can evolve this one to have all 3 attacking. Basically, a worse Medusa. But, on the other hand, Medusa can't go phase. This can. Yeah, solid. Pretty solid overall. Very playable card. Very versatile. And again, probably necessary because if you are playing a mode deck, you need to put in every mode card, which again, I'm not a fan of. I don't like devs forcing archetypes on me. But in this deck where you just need to have modes every turn, this might have to be played no matter what. You might have to run 3 copies of it because of that. All right. Moving along, we have Heavencraft. So, starting off, we got my boy, Marwynn, Despair Manifest. He's got a really long neck, you can tell. And it is a 4 mana 4/4. Fanfare, add a Torrent of Despair to your hand. Okay, what is a Torrent of Despair? It banishes a random enemy follower from the field. Advance the count of all your crests by 1. I think this is broken, by the way. I think this is a busted card. It counters so much. I actually think this is unfair because, for example, this destroys Lillian. You can't play Lillian anymore. If this deck is meta, Lillian is dead. She can't be played. What do you mean kind of meh? What do you mean kind of meh? How is this meh? You can banish aura units from the game. You can banish Kuon's 13/13 from the game. Not only that, but increasing the count of your crest by 1 is absolutely busted because it works so well with Lapis. This is so much potential damage, it's ridiculous. So much potential tempo, it's ridiculous. It's even really good on your other amulets. It really is. Oh, sorry, this is, yeah, on your other crests. So he gives a crest himself. What does his crest do? At the end of your turn, if allied followers didn't attack this turn, deal X damage split among all enemies. X is the number of crests you have. Worries me a little bit because, again, I feel like now we are being forced to play a crest archetype in the next set. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. Oh, and this hits face as well. Oh my god. Oh, that's actually so strong. Now that archetype becomes viable. Because I was gonna say, I'm not sure if that archetype is very strong. But now oh my god, you can be dealing 4 damage every turn to face, and all enemy units just never attack. Dude, that's so busted. Oh no. Alright, we're definitely going to be seeing a crest archetype, and it actually might be oppressive. Because you can literally play Wardhaven. And by the way, you will play Wardhaven, because Winbert is a crest, by the way. Evolving Winbert is a crest. Grimnir, who is a ward unit, is a crest. So you will play Wardhaven, never bother attacking because all you are is wards. Your opponents have to attack you. At the end of every one of your turn, you clear the board just because of your crest, and you're doing like 3 to 4 damage to face every turn. Oh, wait. Oh, it actually doesn't go face. Never mind. It could go face if the board is empty. Okay, never mind. I take it back. I take it back. It's split between all enemies. It's nowhere close as good as I thought. Never mind, Chad. I take it back. It's okay. It can be a win con, but it's not necessarily a win con. It's still quite good, though. But it's not amazing. I think we'll have to see what other crests do because of this card. So what crests have actual countdowns? We know Lapis has a countdown. What else has a countdown? Nothing else, right? That I can think of. Or, yeah. So we got to see what crest we're going to get. It's going to come down to that. All right. Moving along, we have Portal. It's a lot of Portal cards to see. So, starting off, we have Lishena, Melody Manifest. 4 mana, 2/4. Fanfare, add a Melodious Monody to your hand. I swear that's a weird name. All right. She cannot be destroyed by abilities. That's kind of interesting. That is kind of interesting indeed. Cannot be destroyed by abilities. That means Bane doesn't kill her. That means spells that destroy don't kill her. And her evolve is summons White Psalm, New Revelation. Okay. So, let's see what this is. Let's see what this is. So, Monody does what? It's a 1 mana spell. Select an ally card in the field and destroy it. Deal 4 damage to a random enemy follower. So already, for 5 mana, you can play her and deal 4 damage to a random enemy. And it doesn't kill her, by the way. Because it doesn't do anything. Secondly, she, yeah, I mean, that's one of the main combos. Kind of useful, right? Pretty solid. Solid combo. Her evolution, it gives you a oh, I remember this card. So, it's a 3 mana, countdown 1, last word amulet. Restore 1 defense to your leader, summons Black Psalm. Countdown 1, last word, deal 1 damage to enemy leader, summon White Psalm. So, it goes back and forth. Every turn, you're either dealing 1 to them, healing 1 to you. I think this card is insane. I think this card is very, very, very good. Don't puppets need board space? Generally speaking, yes. You think it's too slow? I don't think it's too slow at all. I think this is very, very good. This is good for grind games, correct. Odin deletes them? Fine. He deleted a 3-cost card. Who cares? Who cares? You guys are saying Odin deletes it. Who cares? That's good. If Odin's primary target was a 3-cost card that has already gotten multiple turns of value, do you know how good that is? That's value. That's great. Secondly, you can use this on this, by the way. I don't know if you guys realize that, but this is a great target. You can accelerate it with Monody. Overall, if the game doesn't have an oppressive amount of OTKs, this can keep you at full HP and force your opponent to just eventually die. I don't think people realize how strong healing every turn or dealing damage every turn is. So for example, let's just consider Burn Knight that does 1 damage to your face every turn. Let's consider when you play versus Abysscraft and they drop the 3-cost card that does 1 damage every turn for a couple of turns. That 1 damage per turn is very painful because it puts you into thresholds of death. On the other hand, the same is true for healing. A lot of decks need to push damage to you and get you to a certain point before they can kill you. And if you're healing every turn, you are getting massive value. Now, these are alternating, but that doesn't make them any worse. 1 damage per turn and 1 damage per turn or 1 heal per turn, these are great effects if they're not costing you a lot down the line. Furthermore, having a target for Melodious is kind of nice as well. Let's say the turn you play her, you don't need to use this because you're evolving her. She becomes a 4/6. You trade with something. You keep this in hand. Next turn, you can drop Psalm, deal 4 damage for 4, and then start getting value down the line, right? Over and over and over again. This also allows you to be a little bit aggressive and use your HP as a resource because you know you're going to recover some of it back soon. Yeah, solid. We got this dude. This is the most depressing card. This is the card that got me the most depressed in the game. I was very sad to see this. But we have Mjerrabaine, Great Manifest. He's the Bald Lord. You can see he has a shiny dome. He has a 4 mana 3/3, trash stats, fanfare, add a Great Testimony to hand. Evolve, we get his crest. So first of all, what does this do? Select an enemy follower on the field and destroy it. Very strong, right? 1 mana removal is insane. Like, you can play this without the crest, by the way. Just because of this card, you can literally play this with no crest. Because this is just good to hold on to your hand. It's just solid just to keep this forever. Hard removal for 1 mana on anything you need in the future is insane. Guys, don't forget, you don't have to use this on the turn you play it. If you have a free turn 4, just drop this guy down and hold on to this. This can remove super high value targets later on. But that's not the reason I hate this card. The crest says, when you gain this crest, replace your deck with the Mjerrabaine deck and transform the Reaper card at the bottom of your deck into a victory card. That means once you've decked out, you win the game. At the end of your turn, discard all cards not named Great Testimony, which means you get to hold on to this and draw 6 cards. Cool. So, the deck is a 76 card deck containing each card from Heirs of the Omen. What does this mean? This means that 76 divided by 6 is a little under 13, right? It's 12.66666 continued. So, in 13 turns, you win the game. That's not counting if there's draw cards in the set that we don't know about. So it could be faster. Cool win condition. You're not going to last for another 13 turns. This will very rarely happen, but it could. The reason I hate this card the most is because this is the card that confirms we're only getting 76 cards in the expansion. For 2 months, that's not enough cards. I'm going to be bored within 4 weeks. I'm going to have a great first week. Second week is going to be stabilization. Third week is going to be like, yeah, we've played basically everything. Fourth week is going to be like, well, all right, let's play some League of Legends. And we're going to have to wait another month of nothingness. That's the reason I hate this card, because it confirmed how many cards we're getting this set. For a 1 month expansion schedule, 76 cards is great. That can last 3-4 weeks. For 2 months, this is not enough. This is a tiny expansion. This means every single class is getting 10 cards. That ain't it. I'm sorry. That's not good enough. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Still, cool. I'm not super excited because, again, the devs are just building my decks for me. But you know what? I think I'll have a fun first couple of days for sure. Trying out new decks. Playing the archetypes, seeing what is strong, what is not. Playing new metas, running into cool combos. And I look forward to seeing the other cards because who knows? Maybe they do print some stuff that makes some crazy decks possible. So it's too early to tell. We'll see what happens. That said, that is it for all the cards revealed thus far. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like my content, consider subscribing. I promise we have a lot more to come. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace!